the guy that got killed in the subway, and the fucking crazy guy that got killed, the Michael Jackson impersonator. Former, actually, that's probably an important thing to say too. Former Michael Jackson impersonator, and they keep trying to make an angel out of this guy. Well, I feel like I got to preface this by saying, like, I hate the "he was no angel" thing. Like, when 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 that was, when Trayvon got killed, and it was like, well, he was no angel. Look at this picture of him holding a gun. Like, I think that's the most dismissive shit in the world. I mean,
It's the same argument you were just making. It's like, if that rule can apply to them, it can apply to your friends too. I really don't want people making a judgment like he was no angel, and that's okay. Do
yeah,
what,
based on a couple of Facebook posts that I made to be funny or to be ironic or whatever. Like, I'm sure you could find those things about me, right? But as soon as it happened, AOC immediately called it a murder, which is the exact same thing that happened with Adam Schiff a couple months ago with the Stop Asian Hate murder that happened to be an Asian guy that murdered an Asian guy,
Yep.
and he never retracted it. But yeah, I mean, this dude was an absolute menace, and like, nobody. Yeah, he's been arrested. He's been detained over 40 times. He he assaulted a 67-year-old woman in the subway, and it resulted in a skull fracture, and apparently tried to abduct a 7-year-old at one point, which God knows what the fuck was going to happen if that was successful, right?
Yeah.
And also, supposedly, the day before, he tried to push somebody into the subway, into an oncoming train. So, does any of that amount to they deserve to get killed? No. But also, the every citizen has basically been fucking deputized by the new hands-off policy with this crazy shit, right? It was like, I think the first time I ever liked Eric Adams was when he said, like, "Oh, AOC can't force me into, rushing to judgment on here. We gotta consider all the facts." And we don't know yet what the guy was doing. First of all, how is there not cameras all over the subway system? They don't have Ring doorbells for the fucking subway? That, like, it's always got to come from 5 different angles from whatever dickhead was sitting there like this. But, like, they're trying to make such a racial issue out of this thing when the guy that recorded it clearly, if you hear his voice, was clearly not a white guy. And he's congratulating the guy and thanking him for neutralizing the threat and saying that he was in Operation Desert Storm and blah, blah. There's a dark-skinned Latino guy who's also struggling with the dude to hold him down, right, the whole time. And then there's a dark-skinned woman who's sitting there watching it happen, and supposedly the thing that's going to sink this guy is that somebody said, "Hey, you don't have to catch a murder charge; you can let him go," and he still kept holding him, but you also can't tell from the video if he was actually yoking him the whole time or just holding him. And like, after because I saw it right away, and the whole video has kind of disappeared. But when the guy went out, when he finally stopped struggling, he turned him on his side and was basically like spooning the dude. And then he got away from him and he fell backwards onto his back, and somebody said, "Hey, he can choke on his own spit, turn him on his side." And they rolled him onto his side and then just like kept a hand on him in case he woke up and started spazzing out. But like, that doesn't sound like the intention to kill somebody. And the perfect encapsulation of trying to make somebody fucking, of the press was, go to that Toure thing that I have. Not my friend Toure. So Yeah, so this is from May 3rd. A homeless man yelling on the NYC subway is normal. We see it all the time. What's not normal is for a Marine to sneak up behind him, put him in a chokehold, and unalive him. That's not justified. The Marine could have just done nothing. He should be charged. And then 10 years ago, a 77-year-old white customer at Dunkin' Donuts was upset about something, and he called, actually this is 2 years ago, I'm sorry, and he called a black 27-year-old employee the N-word. The brother told him to say it again. The old man did. The brother knocked him out. The old man fell, lost consciousness, and died. He fucked around and found out. So, one of these is justified and the other one is not. And that's not somebody being the executioner, right? And like, what's to say that 77-year-old man wasn't probably pretty mentally ill that he's going around, that's not a sign of dementia, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a totally with it old man. But then of course when he gets called out for it, Toure says, "Fuck around and find out" is about people challenging boundaries and dealing with consequences. Mentally ill people who lack impulse control are not challenging boundaries. Their bodies are betraying them. They don't need consequences. They need help. Right? And then back up to like a year ago when Adams announced, I think it was like last August actually, Adams announced that he was going to basically institute 5150s for New York City, of being able to detain people for like up to a month or something like that in mental hospitals. Immediately, his own city council said that it was racist because it was going to disproportionately affect black people. Like, well, are you protecting society, or are you protecting, so you have to protect society from these people, but now you also, because you've deputized them, you have to protect people from the society. And like, it's the thing that was always going to happen, right? The dude, the bodega owner that fucking killed somebody that was robbing him. That's what was always going to happen. Like, you can't pool the police and then suddenly think that people are just not going to defend themselves. Right? It's like,
Yeah.
we need more. Yeah. Dude. Another crazy part of this is that guy is on the top 50. Did you see this?
No.
There's a list of the top 50 homeless people that are in need of help, aka New York City's top 50 is crazy people, which I can't help but to wonder if it's anything like the comics to watch. Like, it's like, are there other crazy dudes like opening the paper like, I missed it again? But
He didn't
dude,
really need the help. He was just friends with the guy who ran the contest.
Yeah. But like, so this is an internal list that they're not releasing to the public. So they know who the crazy people are, but there's just like a subreddit that New Yorkers are supposed to go to find out if like the train that they're on is famous for having a psychopath on it. It's fucking nuts, dude. And yeah, I think the solution is to give them Governor's Island. It's the only way.
Okay,
right?
I'm on board with
That's
that.
the Governor's Island is the one that has the gondolas, right?
I think so. I'll double check.
I think it is. That like, just give all the crazy people Governor's Island and give them fake money, right? Give them all the services they need, but you don't get on the gondola unless you're cleared to get your ass back over here.
Roosevelt Island. Roosevelt Island.
It's Roosevelt. Okay. Roosevelt Island.
Which is ironically where they used to have the insane asylums.
Yeah. Yeah, that was back in the day when they thought that people's teeth were the problem, I'm pretty sure. They just started... There's like some fucking Mengele type doctors that were just plucking teeth out. But I don't know, man. This thing just drives me so crazy. And the fact that it's getting turned into a strictly racial thing is such absolute bullshit, especially considering how many people were involved that were not white people. But like, was it a racial incident when the Dominican comic that we know shot a black guy? Was that a hate crime, or is it only when some guy that's a Marine does it, right? Some white Marine. Was the white girl that jumped from a hotel in Times Square the same week that this guy got choked to death? Was that a hate crime? All right, pull that up. This one is crazy. It's crazy on its face, but aspiring model 20 who was plunged to her death from Times Square hotel after being repeatedly punched by boyfriend 24 with their blah 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 with their 8-month daughter. Desiree Anderson 20 fell to her death after a violent row with her boyfriend. And well, first of all, her name is Desiree, spelled Dezirae. You have to be in the top 99% of likely people with that name spelling in particular of getting thrown off a building by your black boyfriend. If your name is Desiree with a Z. Oh, boy. But scroll down on that to the pictures, like the third or fourth picture of her. Keep going. But there's... Dude, it's just so fucking crazy that... Yeah, it's the friends are paying tribute of like on her social media. You were a great mama, and your name will live on with your daughter. Oh no, they named the daughter Desiree also. No, this is a touching tribute. You didn't deserve all this, man. I'm gonna miss you, girly. Fly high, beautiful. Fuck, man. I feel like social media has really replaced. That's it. You can pull that off. Social media has really replaced the people that would have gotten either a sweet like back window memorial.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. An R.I.P. Jesus. Those were the best, dude. Real smoke job on there.
There would have been a hot rod Lincoln with a R.I.P. Desiree, gone but not forgotten, across the back windshield.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing that does live on is the dead homie shirt. That, I've got a lot of black friends, and I say all the time that you don't really have black friends unless you've got one of your dead black friends on a T-shirt that you bought for $50 at the funeral. But so this is the Daily Mail, right? This is not a liberal publication at all. So there's not even a link to the arrest picture of the boyfriend, and then go to the next thing. So you have to basically skip around to find out that the boyfriend that beat her up before she fell off the building was a black guy. Tyler Griffin. Right? And the fact that they're still giving any credence to the idea that this woman fell off that building, that's fine. Pull it. That's it.
Look at his eyes right now. I can tell you just looking at that, he did it. He's not the most innocent looking fella. But yeah, dude, the fact that the media didn't jump all over this in any way is just such a fucking sign of this crazy initiative that they have to always try to make everything about race. And the Texas shooter, which is another disgusting one, they're also trying to make this guy... You pull that up, that headline? Oh, wait. It's not the first headline that I gave you. The echo chamber? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So, yeah. They're trying to make Mauricio Garcia into
a Nazi now. That headline, this is the first one on Reuters. Texas gunman may have embraced white supremacy, media report says. And then you go through that, and when you actually read that article, it says that Russian media sources, are reporting that his social media had neo-Nazi influences on it, right? And they've released things saying that they believe it's him, and I'm not putting this up because, let's face it, our YouTube channel's doing bad enough without swastikas on it. But it's a guy with an SS tattoo and swastika, and it's some post, and it's headless, and it's also so it's a headless fucking shot proving that this is the guy, and it's also missing the neck tattoo that you could see when that dude died. And it's like it's all just trying to make sense out of insanity, right? Like all of it. It's just trying to make some kind of sense out of the completely unsensible. But a thing I wanted to point out with the Texas one, and the way that unfolded, was that I read this book called Trust Me, I'm Lying, and I forget the name of it. I've read 1,000 books that I don't know the authors of, and I feel like that's my paying it forward for all the people that watch comedians and then don't know what their name was. So suck a dick, authors. You can get these hands too. But a way that they manipulate media, and this guy's like he's a professional media manipulator, right? And what he would do is, when he wanted something to go viral, he would like take a picture of something that was fake, post it somewhere, and then send it to a fake Instagram account basically, and then tag local papers, like the shittiest local paper that you can possibly find, and say, hey, this happened on this street or whatever. If horse walks into diner, whatever it is. And then, so the local paper sees the social media report, and it's like, so a social media report says that this happened. And that's the first one. And then a bigger local paper says, this local paper says that this happened. So now that's the source. And then national papers pick up that these local papers are saying that this thing happened. And it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and blown out. And that was before AI, dude. So that was before there was, these fucking generative learning models or whatever that are scouring the entire internet, so that when something gets posted, some half-truth or non-truth at all gets posted enough, these things are scouring. And most of that Reuters report said a Russian site says that on its social media it said that.